Hi, I'm Jenny Hoff, the Communications Director for the City of Bee Cave, and I'm here, of course, with Clint Garza, your City Manager. As you may have heard, Mr. Garza's been going around to neighborhoods within our city and the surrounding area to talk about potential new roads that City Council will be discussing in their meetings in January. So we have a lot of questions that have been coming in from some of you, and I know you haven't all been able to attend those meetings. So we're hoping to clear the air in this video. In just a couple of minutes, we can ask your top questions and get our answers straight from the source. First, let's just briefly talk about what these roads are. Where will they be running from?
The road runs parallel to Highway 71, think Summer Moon Coffee area, all the way to Hamilton Pool, and then from Hamilton Pool over to the shops at the Galleria.
Why is this something that the staff considers might be important for the future of the city?
We are dealing with growth pressure. The state system is really designed for regional trips. Local jurisdictions will build city roads for local trips. So if you're leaving your home and you want to head to LTYA, or if you're headed to one of the shopping destinations in town, we like to offer an alternate solution to that.
All right, so the council, what will they be voting on specifically in January?
City Council will be accepting the study results from Rodriguez Transportation Group and then determining whether or not they want to add or remove any roads from the thoroughfare plan.
So what is a thoroughfare plan for people who might not know?
It's a long-term planning tool used by city staff to plan and direct future growth. We take a look at the landscape and decide where we might need future roads to satisfy our needs.
So what would be the ultimate purpose of this road? Like, how would people benefit in the city? Why would you guys consider it?
Well, in addition to providing an alternate to 71 and ultimately improving traffic conditions on 71, the road ideally will provide access for local trips. So as the city builds out, especially in the center of town, residents will have an option other than 71 to utilize. We don't want a single point of failure anywhere on a system. We want to provide a diverse range of solutions for folks that are in traffic. We think that adding additional local streets add predictability and safety.
How would this road be funded?
I think like everything else in our city budget, we're almost solely reliant on sales tax. And so if it is prioritized and council directs staff to explore it, then we would find a way to fund it with our sales tax revenue.
Now, a lot of people at these meetings that I've heard have said we need a solution right now to some of our traffic problems, and they're eager to see some sort of accessible road being built. What is the actual timeline of what we could expect if council decides to include this in the thoroughfare plan? What does that mean as far as a timeline?
Well, I agree we have problems right now. The timeline for a road after the planning is done is a few years, and so it could be 3 to 5 years before we finish construction on the road.
And one of the concerns some people have had is, would this run through the Brown property, which is that piece of property next to Great Divide off of 71 that the city owns? And I know City Council voted to potentially make this into a nature center. Would this cut through that nature center?
It will not. The location of the road through the Brown property where the future nature center will be is on the northern property line between the fields at the Field of Dreams and the nature center property itself. Access to the nature center we feel is better coming from a new proposed roadway as opposed to the single point on Great Divide.
Council's voted on big projects before. Why in this instance are you going to different neighborhoods to solicit feedback?
Traffic is the #1 concern that we have in the city. All of our residents at one point or another have either been stuck in it or been affected by it. The study, this has been about an 18-month process now that staff and council have undertaken. And part of the presentation or part of the package from our consultants is the public feedback piece. We did have a public meeting here at City Hall on November 16th, an open house to present the initial findings. At that meeting, it was well attended, but not well attended from a great cross-section of the community. Largely, the attendance at the meeting was from 2 existing neighborhoods, 2 of our older neighborhoods in town. We did not see folks from the other areas, especially those that use 71 daily. So I made a decision to go out and reach out to the other neighborhoods and try to get as much public input and feedback as possible so that when council does take action, they've got the opinions of a cross-section of the community.
And the reason this couldn't just be sent out as a survey is because people need to be informed of what these roads are going to look like, where they would go through. So you've actually had to go show them the maps and answer their questions so they can give an informed feedback, correct?
That's exactly right.
Okay. And what would be the time savings? So what did the study find as far as time savings if these roads were built for commuters going down 71 and also for those dropping off their kids at Bee Cave Elementary off of Hamilton Pool Road?
There's a significant time savings coming when Hamilton Pool Road construction is complete. The time savings for a drop-off is about 3 to 4 minutes in the morning over there. Afternoon traffic on 71 is probably our worst problem right now. That's about an 11-minute time savings from all the way through town from Vale Divide to Bee Caves Road.
So one of the questions that some people have asked is why can't we just expand 71 to increase that traffic flow?
Well, you know, I just mentioned that trip takes about 30 minutes to get across town. It's an opinion of staff and a strong opinion of my own that no single solution exists for our traffic problems. We're simply growing too fast. Improvements to the state system obviously require coordination with the state of Texas. There is no scenario where the state of Texas will allow City of Bee Cave to pay for the work and then get reimbursed for the work. A state road improvement would take no fewer than 10 years. Folks here in town will remember how long the 620 improvement projects took. And we got close to the point of beginning construction and the funds were reallocated to I-35. Doing the work on the state system will have improvements, and I think it's something that TxDOT needs to add to the long-term plan. Our city officials, from Bee Cave city officials in Lakeway, Travis and Burnett County have all met with TxDOT, and we're asking them to look at 71, add it to the plan, and then begin that process of improvements up to and including expansion. But that process will take no less than a decade to get done. Taking a local control of the road is not the only solution, but it does put some of the things that we can control on the table, and we can do it a lot sooner than TxDOT. And remember, we don't want a single point of failure. If we expand just 71, if we just expand 71, and there's an accident on 71, or if folks are headed to a specific destination, they could get stuck.
All right, so it still doesn't give an alternative route to get east to west.
That's correct. And the alternative route is a benefit for all of the reasons that I listed previously, but it's also a benefit to the local businesses that are on those routes.
What has been your feedback so far from people when you go into these neighborhoods?
Nearly all of it's been positive, actually. A lot of the feedback that I've seen is that this sounds really great. When can we get started? We have, every meeting that I've had, folks have definitely got concerns, but they want someone to stand up and take lead and make the changes to improve quality of life and safety.
How can people who may not still understand what the roads would look like get more information?
You can go to beecavetexas.gov, and it's one of the top items on our news feed. But honestly, citizens are always welcome to reach out to me directly. See Garza at beecavetexas.gov, and we can set up a time and I can discuss it.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Clint, for answering our questions. Check out our website, beecavetexas.gov, where you can also see an FAQ sheet. You can access the slides to see what those roads would look like, what those boundaries would be, and you can, of course, always give your feedback to us before that deadline, middle of January. We'll see you next time.